Hey guys, welcome in. Thanks for being here. I am so sorry. I am supposed to have a second mic and apparently it is not working. So now, the last talk that I have been other microphone, for some reason it doesn't like when it's plugged in to the other side. So it is what it is. Let me mute that because for some reason this setup is determined it's always going to run off my iPhone, which just drives me nuts. And no matter how many times I tell it to ignore it and disconnect it, it's still going to run off the iPhone. So hopefully you all can hear me now. It says cutting out. All right, give me 1 second. Let me go back over and see if I can get on the other side and make some technology work for John for a change. It seems like for some reason that box is supposed to run this doesn't run this. All right, and then that went off. Yeah, still didn't disconnect that mic. Disconnected. All right, let me see. Whoops. Nope, not gonna find that mic. Oh, there it is. Wireless, finally. Hey guys, hopefully that is working now and we're all good. I don't know why, for some reason I'm supposed to have this box that I'm able to run things through, but anytime I plug the microphone into it, it will not do that. So hopefully that has fixed it and now you're not hearing an echo and all of that craziness. Cool, thanks Nikki. So guys, thanks for being here on Super Bowl Sunday. Thanks for putting up with my technological challenges because I have plenty of those, believe me. It just doesn't work for me for some reason. I like to keep thinking I'm going to get a little technology savvy, but it just doesn't happen. So it has been a crazy weekend. Joydy was first in the chat. Thanks for being with me, Joydy. I appreciate you being here this afternoon and giving me a little patience as I work through the issues. Jackie's here, Ryan's here. Hey, Balloonist is here this afternoon. Thanks for being with me, Judy. Who else? Jean's here. Hey, Jean, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Mama Jan's here. Hey, Mama Jan, welcome in. Nikki, thanks for being with me. Pat's here. Hey, Pat, thanks for being in. So cool. I think I've caught up. Pat says, yes, you are a great pre-show to the Super Bowl. Yeah, and interesting, they moved the Super Bowl up. I'm still going to 5 o'clock our time. We're actually having our own little Super Bowl party. Neither one of us are necessarily either fan of the teams that are in the Super Bowl this year. Don't have any prejudice against either one. It's just not big fans of either team. Enjoy the commercials more than anything, but anymore, guys, the commercials aren't even that good, or at least they don't seem to be as good as they used to be. Hey, Candace, welcome in. Thanks for being here. The Ducks is a hockey team. Wrong bird. It's a Seahawk. I didn't think I said Ducks. Maybe I did say Ducks. Hey, Runs with Quilt Melissa. Thanks for being here. And hello to you as well. So we've got a lot done this weekend. I was so excited. We actually got the Tula Pink quilt on the long arm this weekend. Got 2/3 of it done, had a crash, and now I can't get the, we haven't been able to figure out how to get the long arm to work again. So hopefully I did text our tech, and hopefully he will be able to come over this week and take a look at it. I always love when you have to call the tech, right? He'll make a house call, which is great. So that makes it nice, and that's $125 just to start. So he doesn't even do anything, and it's $125 just to show up. So we'll see. But I need to get it done, and I would at least like to get that particular one done and off the long arm, because now we're stuck until we can figure out what's going on. So I did reach out to Marie, the Quilted Poodle, because she had helped give me some training in that on it. And she gave us a couple ideas, but I think basically everything she suggested, my partner had already done. So I did get, and Danielle's not here yet, so I don't know if Danielle's going, oh, no sound again. Still no sound. Wow, I need a house. There's my daughter. She always texts me during the live. She has never figured out that I go live at 4 o'clock. All right, can you all hear me now? Hopefully. Pat says I should have taken lip reading in college. I don't know, you'd have to take Southern lip reading to deal with me, right? Sound is good. Thanks, Candace. So I'm not sure, guys, what's going on. I apologize if you're having trouble. It's just, sometimes it's just the way things work out for us, right? So I have been working on, hey, Zazalita, thanks for being here this afternoon. I wonder if your world is as crazy as ours with the Super Bowl and everything going on. You know, sadly, I don't even know where the Super Bowl is being played this year. I know it's the Seahawks and Patriots, but I don't know, I actually don't even know what city it's being played in. But we did make some Super Bowl food, so we're having little smokies and barbecue sauce. We're having pizza rolls, which are my favorite. We're having 7-layer dip, but as my partner told me, I only get 6 because I don't like black olives. And what else did he make? Oh, I'm making hot wings. And so we've got a nice variety for us this afternoon. He actually set up a little buffet and everything, so it's going to be kind of cool for just 2 old guys watching the Super Bowl. So I am finally working on the Caledonia quilt pattern from December, and I'm really happy. It's all these pinks and grays that I put together. And so kind of excited to get this going, get this done. It almost feels kind of Valentine-ish, right? Probably not a word, but that's okay. I'm from the South. We make up words when we need to. But that's kind of cool. I did get my gnome quilt done. I was so excited for this to come in. I had hoped to get it done and up on the last live, but I didn't. But it's Sewing Mends the Soul. And I just love this. Actually, one of our retreaters is the one that sent it to me and said, hey, did you see this on my favorite quilt store? I had not, and I ended up going back and buying it. I bought the panel itself, and then I bought the complementary fabric to go with it as far as the yardage. So I put that on as a border. So I ended up doing the panel and then putting the brown on it. I thought just really pulled it out because of the wood and all that in the spools and the desk or table, whatever. And then I ended up going back and trying to match that mauvish pink for the gnome herself, and then went back with the blue because I didn't want to get the blue and the pink together because that just reminds me too much nursery. So I ended up doing the blue, pink, and then separating. But I love the gnomes turned out so perfect that I almost have all the way around full-size gnomes. And then he actually quilted it for me in a sewing motif. So it's got a sewing machine, an iron, and spools, and like a spoon, which I don't know what that would have been in sewing. But anyways, it's got all of that going on. So I think that turned out really cool. And then I ended up just throwing this up today because originally that was supposed to have the new Tula Pink pattern and stitching, but since I didn't get since we weren't able to get that off the long arm, it didn't happen. So now I don't know if I'm frozen or not. because on my iPad I am frozen, but the chat's still going. All right, it says, let's see. Zaza, Melissa, I think California, but I don't know the city. Stitcher says no sound. See, I don't know what's going on with the sound because it looks like it's showing sound for me on my side. But I have no idea what's going on, why this isn't refreshing. Okay, what else is going on? Thanks for that, Zaza. Yes. Not watching the game, but I made wings for the... Oh, hot wings are the other things that he's making. So we're having wings as well. I may have already said that. Zaza said it's super cute. Thank you. I was really excited about it because I like having something like this, and unfortunately you're all going to get to see that for quite a while. This one will change out probably more often. This one will probably just stay up for a while. I actually switched everything around in here this week. Oh, Nikki says I need to put you on the TV so I can see it better. I will have to go back and look to see. Now I don't know why there was my telephone. There's my telephone way over there. See if I can find real quick on my favorite quilt store who did that. It's been a technology week for me. I got a new cell phone, which is a big deal for me because I absolutely hate to change cell phones. I'd rather shoot myself in the foot. It just, and of course it went as well as you could possibly think it would go. So that just made it all the more better. Come on. Oh, there it is. My orders are down here. Order has shipped. So it is in the cream colors. It is Sewing Mends the Soul, and it comes in cream. I do know my favorite quilt store had it, as did Hancock had it also, but I ended up getting it from them. In product details, Gail Cadden is the designer. Oh, it's Timeless Treasures. No wonder I like it. It's Timeless Treasures. I can almost tell you, I'm getting to the point I can pick out Tula almost every time now because I'm a Tula fan. Typically, if I walk in a fabric store and see a display and go, oh my gosh, I really, really like that and like the way that looks, 90% of the time it's going to be Timeless Treasures. I don't know what it is about their things, but I just like Timeless Treasures. So the panel itself is about 11 bucks. And then my favorite quilt store, I think, is showing the yardage is actually out of stock. And I kind of like the fact that they did it with cream versus white. I like white, and I usually think white is bright and, you know, just clean looking, right? But it was kind of cool that it was in the cream colors. I don't know. I guess that mauvish pink and all that, it just worked for me. So what else? So Timeless Treasures is who makes that. Oh, Mama Jan says, not in San Francisco, the stadium's in Santa Clara. Okay. How adorable. Thank you, Nikki. Cute gnome quilt. Thanks, Charlotte. Thanks for being here. Good. Nikki goes, when I try to make my phone. Yes. Cool. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on with that. My guess is part of it is Super Bowl and Olympics has probably just got all the bandwidth taken today, too. Who else? Hey, Tasha. Thanks for being on this afternoon. Judy's here. She says Super Bowl in the Bay Area, San Francisco. We have a sports trip here on Thursday and Friday, and it was a nightmare to our college. I can only imagine, right? Because Phoenix hosted the Super Bowl, what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and as exciting and, you know, all of that it can be, it gets to be a lot to deal with. Delia's here. Hey, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Well, Stitcher says, I have sound. I was giving advice to those who say they don't. That's why I had a question mark. Oh, Cool. Hey, Brian. And Pat says, John, when do you come on? I only could find your short videos lately. At 4 o'clock Arizona time. I don't change. So right now we are on Mountain Time technically, but Arizona never changes. So in a few weeks in March when everybody springs forward, I'll stay at 4 o'clock, but all of a sudden for me compared to the rest of the country, we'll be on Pacific time. But I always stay with just the 4 o'clock Arizona time, and that's why I always say Arizona time, because we're about the only state that doesn't change times, which is really cool. And I do try to post the link early in the week. I sometimes forget, so I will try to get the link up tomorrow, so it should show up on the page. But if you hit the notification, excuse me, bell, that'll help too. Oh, Paco's cream looks good with your wall. I agree, thank you. It just all kind of worked out for us, and that's been kind of crazy. So working on Caledonia is the quilt I'm working on today. So maybe I can sew and talk a little bit, but you guys know that that's just really not the case, although I try to act like it is. I did go to Quilt Club yesterday. Praise Jesus, amen. I am done with my 5 monitor credits for the year, so I do not have to go back to Quilt Club unless I want to for the rest of the year. We do have the show coming up, obviously, so that's in 2 weeks. So next weekend, my niece is coming in from Virginia. She's going to be here for a few days. She's going to be down in the Tucson area. So she works, she has government contracts in that down in Tucson. So she will be down there dealing with that during the week. And then she'll come up to see me on the weekend for Valentine's Day. And we are doing Rehab Burger over in Scottsdale. We're going to go over to Mesa and pet the dinosaurs. So I'm kind of excited about that. And then we're going to Sunday, we're going to go to Chicken and Pickles and play pickleball. And now on Sunday, Chicken and Pickles has a brunch. And so apparently you can only order brunch now on Sundays until 2 o'clock. So that's fine. That's what we'll do. Look, guys, I think these colors are just going to be great together. I love these pink and grays. So actually feels kind of springy in that to me. So I think that's going to be cool. So I'd like to get this pattern knocked out this week. Now that the long arm's down, I have no idea. I'll be still pumping out. He's already behind about 24 quilts. So he's just going to stay further behind. So hopefully we'll hear from the repair guy soon. Figure out how to work that into our schedule. But if you are in the Phoenix metro area in the state of Arizona, it would be amazing to see you all at our Palo Verde quilt show. It is on my guyscrafttoo website. So feel free to jump over there, see where it is. It's out here in Sun City West, and it is on the 21st and 22nd of February. So not next weekend, but the weekend after. I actually did, for the first time ever, put a quilt in and a couple of machine embroidery projects. So pretty excited about that. Doubt that I will win any awards, because especially the quilt that I put in is a pretty simple pattern from Villa Rosa. We did it on, I think, Memorial Day. And so it's the patriotic quilt that I did, but I was really proud the way that turned out. And I think it'll show nice for me. So it'll be interesting just to get some feedback and see. It's also one of the quilts that I had taken over to one of the ladies to be long-armed for me. So we actually didn't long-arm it. So moving forward, I'd like the stuff that, I'd like for all of it to be our work. I say ours because my partner is the one that really runs the long arm, but I think it would be fun for that. So, but I had to go to Quilt Club yesterday in order to get the, learn how to put a sleeve on. So one of my friends came down, she helped me figure that out. So I've got that done. I ordered safety pins today so I can safety pin my name and number and all that on the back of the quilt to get it in the show. So all of that's got to go over in the next week or so. So I've got to get all that ready. And then I just read the rules for the other show that I'm doing in March. Is the AQ is the Arizona Quilt Guild. I actually entered 2 things in that show. One being the quilt that I entered in the upcoming show. And they require a sewn on label with your name and quilt name and all that. So I do need to go get, now I need to figure that out and get that put on. And then I've got to put a paper label. So they require that you have that on there, and then they require that you put a paper label over that to hide your name in that. So anyways, I've got to get that done. But now that I know how to sew a sleeve on, I have a better idea. Plus I actually have sewing needles, because all the needles I had were machine needles. How crazy. Let's see. All right, let me go back and catch up, guys. Sorry. Zaza says you'll go back to the normal time for me. This hour early is still confusing. I know. See, it's just crazy, right? But it is just funny how things work. Hey, Pat, my granddaughter qualified for a national contest in FFA, Future Farmers of America, I'm assuming. That's what it was when I went to school. Of course, it is in the area where the Super Bowl is. Getting her plane tickets were so expensive. Interesting, because my niece is coming right to visit, and she's flying her husband, boyfriend in Thursday night. And she was talking about how expensive, and even like to stay out here with us, how expensive it was to get the hotel in that, because she likes to have her own place. She doesn't like to stay with family in that, which is fine. And I said, but you do realize you picked absolutely the most expensive time of the year, right? So this weekend was the PGA. So the Waste Management Open was all week. And so today was the final. And then next week, I think, is when the Cactus League and spring training and all of that. You know, everybody wants to be here, right? So today it was 85, I think, was our temperature here in Phoenix. And I mean, hot enough that I actually had to turn the air conditioning on. How crazy is that? Let's see what it was. 83 out here in Surprise in that area. It was 83 today. So, you know, you just don't know, right? It's just so crazy. Let's see what else. Hey, John, in all Cumberland County, Nova Scotia. Hey, Pat. Thanks for joining and being here. Oh, Pat says, did you do your quilt entry yet? So I have it going. So we turn them in a week from Wednesday, I think, something like that. And then they'll have them up at the club and that, or where we're having the show. So we can go in Friday night and preview. And then I actually have to work, you have to work the show as well. And I'll be there on Saturday morning and Sunday morning. So if you're in the area and do the show, please try to do early morning, Saturday or Sunday, and drop by. Also, the same weekend is the Tucson Quilt Show. So because of the way the shows fall, they do Friday and Saturday. So again, if you're in the area, especially down around the Tucson area, please go down and support their show as well. It works out since our show's Saturday, Sunday, and theirs is Friday, Saturday. You can actually do both shows and make a big weekend of quilting. And I don't know if Miss Mona entered I don't remember if she entered a show, entered a quilt in their show or not. I'd be surprised if she didn't. She does some beautiful things. That's what I strive one day to do, some of the stuff that that lady does. She does some beautiful work, let me tell you. All right. Nikki says, when you get a chance, can you take a photo of the quilting and post it on your YouTube post? Yes, I will do that this evening for you. So I'm assuming you're talking about the gnome quilt. And so yes, I will do that. But it is Timeless Treasures. My Favorite Quilt Store did have it, as did Hancock Fabrics over in Paducah. And I thought at some point, I ordered two because I thought about giving one panel away. I thought would really be cool for our channel. And I planned to start some giveaways tonight, but with my new setup, I can't reach the keyboard from where I'm at. And so we're still trying to figure out some things. So hopefully next weekend we'll have some of that worked out. Where I knew Hercules was going to be nasty to me today. All right, let's see. I lost that thread altogether. I have no idea where that thread went. All right. Yeah, I can tell you, flight prices have gotten ridiculous. We just booked our week at the beach with the grandkids this year. It's actually going to be we're going the third week of June, so it's funny. My son-in-law just keeps pushing it later and later, and it's like, dude, I can tell you, if you push it down to July, we'll probably just not be able to come anymore. But he wanted to go the third week of June this year, which means it was about another $700 because now it's getting into what they consider the summer season. I always booked the 2 weeks prior because that was still considered spring. And then last year he pushed it to the next week, which luckily where we ended up booking the why I did that where we ended up booking the condo, it ended up it was fine as far as it was still considered spring season. But this year he wanted to go the third week, and because he said it would be better for his work, and so we ended up paying more, and I can't complain because my daughter and son-in-law paid for it, and so I can't really complain. But when I started looking at flights, like, oh my God, flights have gotten so expensive. And since I'm not a tiny guy, I do prefer to fly first class, especially if I'm going to be on a plane for about 5 hours, and that's not going to happen either. So, because it's going to run about $500 a piece for us just to fly coach, and that's on American. And then if I wanted to do first class, it was like $1,600. But yeah, I mean, I don't make that kind of money, so I will have to suck it up and fly coach. But we'll see how that goes. But the problem is the coach seats don't give me enough back support, so I always end up with achy back for a couple of days after flying across the country like that. So let's see what else is going on. Nikki says, we made it to the mid-50s. It's lovely, but muddy. My dogs need a bath. Oh, I can only imagine. That's what my daughter said. It's just, everything's just damp now, right? Just water soaked. In fact, she texted me, I think it was last night. She goes, welcome to 12 degrees. It's supposed to be 12 degrees tonight or something. And I was like, honey, I hate to tell you, we're still in the 80s. I don't know. I really try not to rub it in because, first couple of times it's funny, but now it's, she's over winter along with everybody else. And it does seem like we've had an extraordinary winter this year, at least back on the East Coast. And so, so much weather, so much going on. I know Carl even posted down in Florida, right? I think they had some snow in that, or maybe it was Katrina. I can't remember who it was now. But, just, you don't think of Florida ever getting snow. All right, so what did we talk about? We talked about the quilt top. So I've got my quilt ready. I just need to get it going. The sleeve is on there. I just need to safety pin my entry and all that on there. So I will get that done this week. just have to wait for Amazon to get here because I could not find my safety pins. I know I have safety pins, but I actually think I have all big safety pins, and I knew I needed probably smaller ones. So I ordered some safety pins today from Amazon, so those should be here tomorrow. And then as part of rearranging and getting things going, I moved Jake to the back, I moved Hercules to the front, and I'm trying to get used to Hercules. You know, it's the bigger, badder machine of Juki. It's got the fancy stitches and that. It does have like a built-in walking foot, which makes it nice. And I really would like to start doing some designs on my binding. I think would be cool. I've seen other people do it. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm not going to do that if the machine's sitting back there and I'm not using it. So hence, I moved the machine up here. So we'll see how it goes. But I am really liking how this is coming together. This is that Villa Rosa pattern that was part of their December group. I still have the January packet laid out and still want to try to stitch one of the new patterns from January. So just so much going on. Oh, Balloonist says 2 quilts in the Tucson. Oh, and it's Thursday through Saturday. Oh, I didn't realize that. So it's 3 days. So they're doing Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. See, the problem is with us working, and it's about 2.5 hours from where I'm at to get down to Tucson. So it really makes it hard for us to get there Thursday or Friday. By the time we would get there Friday, it'd be too late. And then I have to be at our show Saturday. So this ended up not being the right weekend for us. I would have really liked to have gone down. I have not shopped any of the quilt stores or anything down in Tucson. So I think it would be fun to go down and see some of the quilt stores, see what's down there, and probably bump into my old friend Mona. And I'm sure she could probably tell us a good Mexican place to grab lunch while we were down there. So we will get that figured out. Oh, she says the quilt she was working on at the retreat will be in the show. And let me tell you guys, she did a beautiful job on that quilt. She was doing bead work on it when she was at our retreat, and it was really cool. So I'd be very anxious to see how that turned out. So I am excited to see if you get some award for that, because I think that would be very worthy of some ribbon. Of course, you know, you just never know who else is putting in, right? So, what other work they've done. Interesting enough, the AQG show that I entered in is also their theme is a star-spangled theme, and so it was funny that I entered a patriotic quilt. So that actually followed right along with their theme. So that's kind of cool. Nikki says, yes, the lowriders really bring in the mud. Walter wants to run in the mud, Leo potty, but then stays on the concrete with me, but he runs it. You know, it's funny because the last couple of dogs we had were very prim and proper. And so I had one, and she was a mess anyways, but she would go out and literally waller in the mud in that and just get filthy. Come on, Hercules. And just get filthy nasty. But then what was funny is she would do that, but then if it was rainy or snowing, she did not like to be get wet. So she'd go out and she would go under the deck. Most of the houses we had back east had decks, and she would always go under the deck. She didn't like to get her paws in that wet, but then she'd go back out in the yard and just waller in a puddle or something. It's like, okay, you're the craziest dog we've ever had. Oh, you know what? If you don't thread the needle, this doesn't work. So let me go back. I've got the thread sitting there waiting to be threaded, and then I didn't actually pull it through. So that could make a difference if I would do that. So let me do that. No wonder the thing keeps stitching without any thread. All right. For some reason this, oh, I don't know why this is acting the way it is. But of course it would do it during a live, right? It wouldn't do it. It let me actually stitch and do things earlier today, but now it's going to act all crazy. All right. I watched my final Hallmark Christmas movie of 2025 today, along with everything else going on. So I am now completely caught up on my Hallmark Christmas movies from last year. So does that tell you how crazy our year got? I did watch Mission Impossible. Finally got to watch Mission Impossible last night. Sorry guys, I am a Tom Cruise fan. I've always been a Tom Cruise fan. I don't care about his politics and his other stuff. And I really, really, really liked Mission Impossible last night. Still happy that I didn't go to the theater, because I'm not going to sit in a theater for 3 hours. It's just not me. Stitcher says, did you watch the team figure skating competition? I have not seen any Olympics because I don't have Peacock. And so, interesting enough, I didn't realize that the Super Bowl was going to be on NBC. So we actually did switch over and get the antenna hooked up so we can watch the Super Bowl commercials this afternoon. And so now I can see, now that I know where it's at and figured that out, I can watch some of the events on NBC. Because I don't mind the Olympics. I enjoy watching the Olympics on and off a little bit. What I hate is when they're overseas like that. You know, half the time it's in the middle of the night that all that happens. And so, you know, you don't necessarily get to see some of the stuff live and that, which is probably fine too. But interesting enough. Okay. Pat says, I'm waiting to watch the finals of today, but man, that figure skating dance team was awesome. Now, I did see the replay, if you're talking about the one that where he twirled her every which direction on his body and that. Of course, they've replayed that all over Facebook and everything, and it was. You know, it's just, you know, you've got to appreciate the talent that those folks bring. And I guess I didn't even realize the Summer Olympics were going to be in Los Angeles in 2 years. So how crazy is that going to be? That goes, I love thread. Yes, threading does help. I love playing chicken bobbing. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I've gotten so into my head, I think, sometimes that I forget what I'm doing. It's like, okay, you took the thread all the way there, but you still got to push the button for it to thread. I did get some things cut today. I got, I was working on the Christmas quilt I found for, I think I'm going to do the Tibet pattern for my grandson, but I had a kit from Villa Rosa, so I actually grabbed the kit, and it's very mid-century, so it's got that old look and feel. So it's not for him, but I thought, well, you know what would be cool. I think I'm going to do that first because I want to see if I like the pattern, right? If that's what I think is going to be a good pattern for him. So I'm going to work on that first. And so today during Russ's shenanigans over on Quilt Meets World. And if you're not following him, you ought to go over and check his channel out. And Russ also does shenanigans every so often, and it is free to join there. And so feel free to reach. Oh, that's what I did. Okay, I missed. Okay, so here's part of the problem. I threaded the machine wrong. So maybe if I thread the machine correctly, that would make all of this work so much better. So let's try that, John. Let's see what else. Oh, Charlotte goes, I was going to ask about the machine switch. Yeah, I wanted to try this and see if it works for me. You know, it's too expensive to be sitting back there. And it's still a Juki, right? I do love my Jukis. I love everything about it. But I actually spent half the weekend on my Husqvarna because I was stitching, still trying to get the Christmas appliques done that I bought last year. So that I was working on this weekend as well. Let me see if I can show you which one I got done this weekend, because I do think these are oh, I got this one done. So it's the elf that I was able to get done. So I think that's going to be cool. I think it's going to make such a neat quilt when I get it done, but I've only got, there's a dozen of these, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do I really? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 done. That's what I thought. So I've got about 5 more of those to get that project completed. And that was supposed to be a 2025 project, which is now a 2026 project, and that's fine because you know, things happen at my pace. So I am anxious to get that done. But then I actually cut all the material that I needed for the little ghost that was a quilt, because I want to send that to the grandkids for Halloween this year. And I knew if I don't get that started now, I am not going to have it done in time for Halloween. So I also got all of that cut and ready to go this weekend. So interesting enough, I did not use Halloween fabrics in it. And when I bought the kit from My Favorite Quilt Store, they didn't either. And so I've got a lot of springy, purplish, dark colors, kind of a whole variety, because I told my daughter, I said, at the end of the day, if you look at the quilt on the cover, it's all in the blues and creams. It's all fairly light colors in that. And I said, you know, I don't think you really want it to necessarily be related to Halloween, because it should be about acceptance in that any time. And then the kids can use the quilt anytime that they would want to. And so that is my plan. And so we'll see how that goes. All right. So I got both of those cut out this weekend. So now I'm able to do that for her. Wow, this machine runs so much better when you put thread in it. It's just absolutely crazy. All right. Chalk and Bates. Okay, we're the couple, and I liked the dance pair also. Nikki said, Walter doesn't like the grass, so he does his business on the concrete, but it's bright and sunny, so he's all over the muddy yard, right? It's just funny how dogs can be. Charlotte says, air sewing. Yes, I've done a lot of air sewing tonight. I know you guys are so patient with me, and I appreciate that, because I know sometimes it's like, does this guy take something? Because it's like he's all over the place, and it's just, it's the way my mind works. I can't help it. I told my partner the other day I feel bad for him because I had a real senior moment, and it was interesting. I told him, I said, unfortunately, I feel bad for you because it's not really going to get any better than this. This is, it's only probably going to get worse, but just rest assured that I told my daughter that she's always said she would take care of me, so when it gets to be too much, you can just ship me back. And to which he said he would ship me back to Virginia for her to deal with me, but that he would quit his job and follow, and that he would be there too. So I thought that was pretty sweet. So, but I think he's also thinks, yeah, it'd be fine for her to be your problem during the day. I don't know, I kind of think our kids owe us, right? Because I took care of her really well when she was little. So somehow it all does come back to roost, doesn't it? So we'll see. I doubt that I'll ever end up back in Virginia. I loved Virginia. A lot of things, have a lot of good memories in Virginia. Both my kids graduated schools in Virginia. But I'll be honest, guys, other than watching the snow from Arizona, I have no desire to ever be back in a state that gets cold and snowy. I can handle the cold if I have to, because I'll be honest, I think it gets cold enough in Phoenix. But I am not going back where all that white, nasty stuff falls in the ground. So anyways, I have been working on, I've got the ghost quilts I want to work on. I've got that Christmas quilt I want to get done. I've got my grandson's Christmas quilt I need to start on. I need to figure out what I'm doing for Harry Potter, because I'd like to get some of that fabric cut and started for me as well. Plus all the other projects that I've got going on. And then as one of my buddies on Russ's shenanigans today told me, I said something about kits, and they said, yes, John is the king of kits. And it is. It's really sad, guys. I bet you I have over 100 quilt kits. And I am really trying to work through those this year. I'm trying not to buy any more. And in fact, for the Halloween, or for the ghost that was a quilt, for that one, I actually used all of my stash for that. So I really am trying to go. This, that I'm stitching on tonight actually came out of my stash. So I am trying to get much better about staying away from the stores, at least for now. See, Pat, that's why she's my favorite, right? She says, I bet your 1/4-inch air seam, though, is perfect. And it was, I'll tell you. That was a perfect air seam. Oh, Nikki says, adorable elf. Thank you. I really did like that. I bought that from Christmas Tree Lane or something is the name of the group. And it all comes pre-cut. It all goes in your machine embroidery. So, it's not that bad, but it does just take some coordination. And I really am anxious to get that done. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. I may end up gifting that to my daughter, because that's the kind of things that she likes. And so I could see her having that as a nice Christmas wall hanging. Candace says, John, did you see Burnett is coming out with Harry Potter combo embroidery and sewing machine next month? I did not. That's an interesting combination to come out with. It's funny how, to me, Harry Potter is making a comeback. I did not read the books, was not involved with Harry Potter at all. My partner does like Harry Potter, so now I've geeked out and watched, I've seen all the movies, I think twice, and I've listened to all the audiobooks, and I've gone back and now they've come out with a new full cast version of the audiobooks, which is amazing if you like audiobooks and looking for something different. I do really like the full cast version. I just finished book 2, I think, and book 3 doesn't come out till the 10th, so I'm waiting on it. And but no, it's just interesting how when you look back at how long Harry Potter's been out and how, it made such a cult following. It's just really interesting to me. So I have to go take a look. Pat says, I don't care for the Harry Potter, but I like that black machine. I'm anxious to go look at it. I'm not a Bernina fan. I've had Berninas. I'm definitely more of a Juki fan. But we'll see how that plays out. Oh, Pat said there's a cute pink Halloween line coming out with cats. How cool is that? Hey, Catman Carl, welcome in. Thanks for being on this afternoon. Bet you he's ready for that pink cat fabric. I'll have to look. I've made, the last couple of years, I've made my niece a couple of cat quilts because she's a new cat mom. So far, she told me she's not, that I haven't overdone it with her. So it would be neat to kind of do that because I haven't done like a Halloween necessarily for her, and a cat theme on top of it would really get me some brownie points. Nikki goes, that's really sweet. My daughter would ship me to the nursing home. I have to say, she was always Daddy's little girl, and she was a sweet kid, so I don't know. You know, sometimes they make statements too, knowing that it's a pretty safe bet, right? It's like, oh, I can tell him that. He's all the way out in Arizona. But, yeah, you just never know. She does know I hate cold weather, though. So they weren't surprised when I moved somewhere warm. Pat says you both might be on a rocker on a front porch. My son said he would pick a very nice nursing home and he will put on the TV on CBS for soaps. You know, gosh, do you remember the old days, right? We used to be able to watch soaps. I remember back 100 years ago, I watched All My Children. I loved Erica Kane. And they actually had a couple of cute actors on there too. But I don't know why I was always kind of hooked on All My Children. But the campus back in the day was all hooked on General Hospital. And I remember you could go in any of the dorms at 3 o'clock during the week, and the TV rooms were just packed with guys and girls watching General Hospital. I mean, like everyone was hung up on General Hospital back in the day. And I don't know why that one just never jumped out at me. My favorite was definitely All My Children. That was my soap back in the day. All right, these are turning out really cool. I'm anxious to see how this pattern goes together. So it's Caledonia is the name of the pattern. And so I'm anxious to see how this will finish out. And guys, this went together so quick. I actually cut this I cut it a month ago, I think. But the strips in that are sewing together pretty quick. And everything seems to be lining up really nice. So now all I have to do is kind of lay it on the design wall. So I will actually have this, hopefully next week, I can show you all what that looks like. Finished. Unfortunately, it probably will not be long-armed, but I can at least show you what the quilt top is done. I've got my Allison glass done. I am so happy I've got it done. The borders were a real bear. Ended up having to do some different things to get it done, but it is definitely a king-size quilt. It is all ready for the long arm, so it was one of the things in line. He had a couple of things in front of it that I really wanted. So it was going to get long-armed, and I think he wanted to kind of get through a couple of the other things that I had wanted first anyways, to kind of get back in practice and before he wrestles that big king-size quilt. So I think it will be interesting. It'll be his first time doing a quilt that size. And you know, on the long arm, it's not that big a deal once you get it loaded, right? Because it's just a matter of how many times you roll it and how far back and forth across it goes. But it's a big quilt to get loaded, and it's heavy. It doesn't even have any backing, and yet it's heavy. So I am putting, actually when I bought the long arm, the lady that had it had bamboo batting, and I ended up buying that from her. So because that's going to be my quilt on my bed, I'm actually going to put the bamboo batting in it. So I think that will be cool. What else? Pat says, are you doing the Mystery 5.0? I am not. I did look at that this year and almost got enticed into it. And I just decided, you know, guys, I've got to really just focus on what I already have, because I already am into too much. And the only thing I am doing right now is I still get my monthly subscription from De La Rosa. I like that. It's reasonable enough. They did tell me that it's got 2 upcharges this month, so I guess it's got 2 table runners or something in what's coming. But beyond that, I am doing just that. And then what else am I doing? Oh, I'm doing the Island Quilter, and I am getting my monthly subscription of Tula Pink. But beyond that, I have not done anything else. In fact, I looked at somebody had posted where they had bought 108 end cuts from Fat Quarter Shop, and I looked at that and realized it was a $200 end cut box, and I thought, no, John's not doing that either. Oh, Pat goes, I have a black cat, so he's on everything in October. How cool was that? Mama Jan says, John, I was hoping you two would be taking care of me. See, you just never know. I think we do take care of you, Mama Jan. She's coming to dinner next week to be with my niece and that. So we're excited to have all of us together. Carl's got 3 black cats, Sadie, Sabrina, and Sebastian, my triplets. I think it's adorable. I always like the name Sabrina. And Sebastian is a good name. All right, guys, we are at the top of the hour. I am sorry we had technical difficulties getting started today, but it does look like we finally worked through all of that. How crazy is that? I appreciate you dropping in. It is Super Bowl Sunday. If you're going to jump over and watch the Super Bowl, hope you enjoy that. Halftime show is definitely going to be interesting since everybody's competing now for that time. And then don't forget Tiffany, her quilting life. I'm assuming she is still having her quilting life this afternoon, and she is getting ready to get started as well. So with that said, I appreciate each and every one of you being here. I hope you have an amazing week, and I hope to get a few things posted midweek for you all. As always, guys, until next time, happy crafting.